All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. Can you all hear me? Did you hear the bear? I didn't hear the bear at all. The bear played, but I didn't hear it. Oh, shoot. Yes, the typhoon coming to Japan is not good. You barely heard it. I don't know what's going on. Well, so the show started a little late because for whatever reason, StreamYard just conked out on. Usually I have to run StreamYard on Chrome and it just would not load. It just was a blank screen, and I tried everything to get it to. I tried it everything to get it to work, and it was loud. Oh, okay, I didn't hear it at all over here. That's weird. So So anyways, I'm using Brave browser for StreamYard, and so everything is kind of new. I had to set up everything again on the Brave browser. That's why I don't know. Anyway, so that's the why we're starting a little bit late today. I apologize, but I don't know what happened. It's working now, so whatever. We're live on Rockfinners. What's up? There's some Rockfinners, old as dirt. Denver, what's up? They're re-engineering a cow's stomach. Oh, there's a paywall for me. I can't read it. We're live on Rumble. Don't know who's over on Rumble. A couple people over on Rumble. If you're on Rumble, give us a shout. Rumble Studio. Well, yeah, I haven't. I don't have time to. I need to get into it, but I'll try the Rumble Studio out. I just everything is set up to work in a particular way, and I just don't have the time to like set up another thing. So I'm like, when I have a moment, I will get there. But I will try it. I'm gonna try that out. If it works, StreamYard is okay, but it's got some issues. So if it works better than the StreamYard, I'm all for it. All for it. So I'm actually excited to try out the Rumble Studio. I just don't have the time to like sit there for a few minutes and figure it out. But when I do, it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. All right. So what's up? Greetings, welcome. We're here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here. You heard the bear? Everybody heard the bear but me. Well, why? I want to hear the bear. This is crazy footage from where is this? Minneapolis or Michigan? No, Milwaukee. One of the M's. This is wild. I don't know. You can't see. You can't see it. Can't see it. Archive today. That's something that I needed. Thanks for that, Obsolete. There's another trick too, but I can't even remember what it is. I found another trick for getting around paywalls, and then I promptly forgot it, which is now I don't even know where to even look for this thing that worked so well. Here. Was it this one? I guess so. That's it. 12-foot ladder doesn't really work very well. I've tried it. I have 12-foot ladder, but it only works like 1 out of 10 times, and so it's not really actually very functional. This is crazy. That is wild. He's okay. The cyclist is okay, but the tree just fell. He was coming down the street, and the tree just. It looks so crazy. It looks almost staged, but be real. I mean, I guess you just don't expect trees coming down right in front of you. But man, he hit that thing like. The thing that's weird to me is like there was no brakes whatsoever. It's like he hit it full speed. There was no reaction. So is what I'm saying. I feel like if a tree came down in front of me, I'd be like, you can stop a bike pretty quick. He just went, oh, whoa, crash into the tree. But anyways, poor guy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but 12-foot ladder like almost never works for me. I don't even try because it's like, nope, it didn't work. Um let's see. Old as dirt. on Rockfin. I keep thinking about that speech, RFK Jr. aside. Everything was just questions. And he told people that Trump told him he wanted those things too, but no promises are made. It's all very vague, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. I hear you. Yep. Yeah, not even a we're gonna I mean, I think at the end of the speech he kind of said, "Well, if this is what you want, then join us." Join us. Oh god. I don't know if I can take being let down one more. I don't know if I could I certainly am not going to like run out and vote for Trump now. It's just not going to be enough for me. Are they trying to and Tulsi, did you all see that Tulsi endorsed Trump too? I think I showed you that. Or maybe not. Tulsi endorsed Trump too. So interesting. It's almost like they I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I know it's almost as if they understand that people are completely demoralized, utterly skeptical, have been let down so many times by people running in the Democratic Party, and then um, folding and endorsing whoever the main candidate is. It's almost as if it's happened so many times that they understand that people are like so cynical that it takes everybody in the world joining Trump to get somebody to vote right. Like, oh, RFK and Tulsi and who else are they going to get? Right. I mean, you have Elon Musk, donating money to Trump. I mean, that's pretty big. You have, all these people coming out and endorsing Trump as if, is this going to get everybody over here? I don't know. It's not enough for me. I'm over it. I'm over the disappointment. I mean, I'm just going to sit back and watch. If Trump wins and if he appoints RFK, I'll just be like, well, let's see what happens. But I'm certainly not going to be like, here we go. Come on, everybody, let's go. MAGA train. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm over it. Like the boy that called wolf. Exactly. Oldest truth. That is so right on. That is so absolutely right on the money. Right. It's just like, you know, they've done the okey doke on people. They've pulled the rug out on people. They've done the Lucy with the football on people so many times. And it's unfortunate if this is the time that it actually happens. I mean, whatever. Um, it's not like, well, if Trump wins and RFK and Tulsi join the cabinet and they make these amazing changes, if I'm gonna, it's not that I'm not gonna feel like stupid that I didn't vote for him. I'm just gonna be like, wow, oh, wow, you're surprising. You all surprised me, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I'll just be like, well, I was cynical and skeptical for a really good reason, and I think a lot of other people were too. Maybe here's an idea. Maybe the cynicism and the skepticism is needed, just like a protest, right? Just like people going out and showing their solidarity, like maybe people, withholding their votes and showing their solidarity or showing their cynicism and their skepticism. Maybe people just going like, nah. Maybe that might be at least some pressure to do something, right? Like, well, these people don't believe us anymore. We have absolutely zero credibility with anybody anymore. Uh, we're gonna have to do something because like this looks bad. This looks really bad. But yeah, actually, who was it I was listening to? Ryan Christian was saying something about having an abstention vote. Like it would be great if there was a none of the above, on the ballot, or an abstain on the ballot, so that that people can get a sense of like who doesn't want any of this. Who's really upset at the whole thing. I don't know. Judy Truitt says, I think RFK will speak up if Trump doesn't cooperate. And that's exactly I was going to save this till the end. We'll get into some climate stuff in a second. Just this is going to be a post for the end of the show. But since we're talking about it, we'll just do it like this. Because I wanted to make a comment on this. Whitney Webb said, given all the hype about RFK teaming up with Trump and what it means for healthcare, I have some questions. Many funders of Trump, such as Joe Lonsdale and Elon Musk, as well as J.D. Vance himself, have major investments in biotechnology, gene therapies, and companies deeply invested in mRNA and DNA vaccine technology. And isn't that what RFK, his whole book is exposing? Trump stands by Operation Warp Speed, which produced mRNA vaccines of dubious efficacy and safety, some of which were made with the help of companies tied to Lonsdale's VC, among others. Will RFK Jr. be opposing the use of these technologies as he seeks to tackle the chronic disease epidemic in the U.S. in a future Trump administration? How is he going to tackle chronic disease? I mean, are you gonna reinvigorate the EPA? Are you gonna reinvigorate the FDA? Are you gonna clean house? Are you gonna fire everybody? You're gonna bring in new people? Are you gonna set new standards? Are you gonna clean out the corporate lobbying? I mean, that's a lot of work to do. Will he allow the health DARPA or ARPA-H to continue to operate? Will he allow the Peter Thiel and Joe Lonsdale co-founded Palantir to continue to collect and analyze Americans' health data and genetic data with no meaningful oversight into how they use that data and if they share it with other government agencies they contract for, like the CIA? I agree there is a major healthcare crisis in the U.S., but identifying the problem is one thing. Right? It's easy to just go, it's the oligarchy. It's the big businesses. It's easy to just say the words, and that's, words are cheap. Will these experimental technologies be used or promoted as part of the solution? I think it's important to know. And it seems like not many are asking these types of questions. To which I replied, and this is because you put that post up, Judy, or because of your comment. What I think will happen sorry, I lost myself. What I said was I don't think these things get addressed at all with RFK around. It will be 2 years or less of him trying and then leaving because he sees they are unserious. Too late and damage done. Exactly. Like he's, he might get in there and get a cabinet post, but 2 years in, he's going to be like, all right, this is not going to happen. So I'm bailing, bye, or something like that, right? And 3 years later, he's going to be like, man, I should have kept running as an independent. That way we really could have really done something or something. I don't know. It appears there are a lot of health organizations that need dismantling or redraw. Yeah. Well, yeah. 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 Lots of things need dismantling. It could be done. I mean, it could be done. Again, going all the way back to FDR, when the country was in an emergency and there was a crisis. No, they were real emergencies and it was a real crisis, but they made sweeping changes. They had a mandate from the people and they made major changes in 4 years, and then, so much so that, FDR was elected 3 times because people were enjoying what was happening. But there was a lot done. A lot can be done if people want to have them things done. Anyways, but is it going to get done now? I don't think so. I don't think so. Unless there is some major pressure from people, unless people really really get out there and go like, nope, we are not accepting anything less than this, this and this. And I just don't see that kind of pressure coming from, I see a lot of flopping around and people don't even understand what's going on. You have the man on the street interviews with, Trump supporters and or Kamala supporters, and nobody even understands anything about anything. People are so freaking clueless. You know, it's unfortunate. That's a really great question too. Obsolete Optics says, why are 330 million people allowing 535 people to rule them? I think because the 330 feel like the 535 have a lot of firepower, but that's not, laziness mostly. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep going. I just wanted to, just because we were talking about that, but let's switch gears. It's a new article from SciTech Daily. Earth's temperature could increase by 25 degrees or 14 C. Far higher than IPCC estimate. Of course, we'll all be long dead by then, says Sarah Connor. I mean, hotter than expected, faster than expected. Yeah, I saw that Denver about the Ton coin and the Not coin, which have actually been doing really good. Those have been good crypto bets lately. Not coin especially. But they're good bets to sink now, because they are affiliated with the Telegram. Yeah. Yeah, there were a couple of cryptos affiliated with Telegram started sinking because the founder was in jail. I did see that. All right, Earth's temperature could increase by 25 degrees. Startling new research reveals that CO2 has more impact than previously thought. Well, you don't say. Analysis of the Pacific Ocean sediments shows doubling atmospheric CO2 might raise Earth's temperature by up to 14 degrees. I feel like this is kind of a rewrite of another article we just read recently. With historical data indicating significant future climate impacts. Doubling the atmospheric CO2 levels could raise Earth's average temperature by 7 to 14 degrees Celsius, according to sediment and analysis from the Pacific Ocean. Didn't we just read an article like this about a month ago? Near California, conducted by researchers from NIOZ or NIOZ, and the universities of Utrecht and Bristol. The results were recently published in the journal Nature Communications. The temperature rise we found is much larger than the 2.3 to 4.5 degrees Celsius that the UN Climate Panel, IPCC, has been estimating so far, said the first author, Caitlin Witkowski. 45-year-old drill core the researchers used A 45-year-old drill core extracted from the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. I realized that this core is very attractive for researchers because the ocean floor at that spot has had oxygen-free conditions for many millions of years, said Professor Jop Sinigdamst. I don't know. No, Domstay. Senior scientist at NIOS and professor of organic geochemistry at Utrecht. As a result, organic matter is not broken down as quickly by microbes. More carbon is preserved, Domstay said. He was also the supervisor of Witkowski, whose doctorate thesis included this research. CO2 over the past 15 million years has never before been examined from a single location, Witkowski said. The upper 1,000 meters of the drill core correspond to the past 18 million years. From this record, the researchers were able to extract an indication of the past seawater temperature and an indication of ancient atmospheric CO2 levels using a new approach. The researchers derived the temperature using a method developed 20 years ago at NIOS called the TEX 86 method. That method uses specific substances that are present in the membrane of archaea, a distinct class of microorganisms. Those archaea optimize the chemical composition of their membrane depending on the temperature of the water in the upper 200 meters of the ocean. Substances from that membrane can be found as molecular fossils in the ocean sediments and analyzed to this day. Okay. That's pretty interesting. I don't know if the article we read prior had something like that. Yeah, obsolete. I saw that too. And maybe we might talk about that. If not today, then tomorrow. That's a big story. The fluoride. The government, the US government is admitting that fluoride has an effect. Whoa. Let's keep going. CO2 from chlorophyll and cholesterol. The researchers developed a new approach to derive past atmospheric CO2 content by using the chemical composition of two specific substances commonly found in algae, chlorophyll and cholesterol. This is the first study to use cholesterol for quantitative CO2, and the first study to use chlorophyll for this time period. To create these substances, algae must absorb CO2 from the water and fix it, Jesus, via photosynthesis. Domstay said a very small fraction of the carbon on Earth occurs in a heavy form, C instead of the usual 13C instead of the usual 12C. Algae have a clear preference for 12C. However, the lower the CO2 concentration in the water, the more algae will use the rare 13C. Thus, the 13C content of these two substances is a measure of the CO2 content of the ocean water, and that in turn, according to solubility laws, correlates with the CO2 content of the atmosphere. Sounds pretty logical. Using this new method, it appears that the CO2 concentration dropped from about 650 parts per million 15 million years ago to 280 just before the Industrial Revolution. When the researchers plot the derived temperature and atmospheric CO2 levels of the past 15 million years against each other, they find a strong relationship. The average temperature 15 million years ago was 18 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees warmer than today, and about the level that the UN climate IPCC climate panel IPCC predicts for the year 2100 in the most extreme scenario. Laugh track. So this research gives us a glimpse of what the future could hold if we take too few measures to reduce CO2 emissions and also implement few technological innovations to offset emissions. Domstay said the clear warning from this research is CO2 concentration is likely to have a stronger impact on temperature than we currently are taking into account. Exclamation point. Okay. Okay. A bunch of y'all got into the other Black Bear News chat. It's cool. There's a link below in the description box if you want to get in there. Feel free. Share away. Hold on one second. Hold on, people. All right. We got any rumblers? We got a few rumblers. Osama says humans now threaten to undo the entire climate evolution of the Cenozoic era and only in a few decades. We're number one. We are the best. HempPost says Washington Post gives you one free read per month. That may be why y'all could read the WAPO. Sometimes I do run across articles on either, and they're just randomly just open for people to read. For maybe they allow people to read them for a little while to get some eyeballs. I don't know. Who knows? Not a fan of the paywall news and information network. I mostly avoid it. And I don't subscribe to anything. As soon as Guardian starts trying to make me pay for their bullshit rag, I'm never going to read Guardian again too. So, and guess which news platforms will continue to get readers, and guess which ones will lose readers. I don't know why you want to pay for propaganda anyways. It's silly to me. Oh, I'm going to pay for New York Times or the Washington Post. Okay. Half the shit they post are just fake stories from the CIA. I mean, like what, you're not getting you're getting misinformed. You're not getting informed. So good luck with that. Let's keep going. Yeah. Oh, well, actually, this was the other. I think this was the other article. It was from last year. Kind of along the same lines. Ancient climate analysis suggests CO2 causes more warming than thought. A reconstruction of 66 million years. That's more million years. Anyways, something along the same lines. I don't think it was the same people, though, that were looking at it. No, I don't even want to make an account, yo. It's too much. You're asking me too much. They're talking about gases trapped in ice cores. So I think it was this is a different study, but kind of coming to the same conclusion. Okay. So, yeah. What do you know? Let's see. This is from A tactical DNC would concede the 2020 election to Trump and then deny him a third term. That's funny. Well, you know what's really strange though is, I mean, maybe it's not that strange. Maybe it's just more on the surface than what you know. You know that Obama is pulling all kinds of strings in the DNC, right? In the Dem party. You know that he has a lot of sway. I mean, Trump has been maneuvering with politicians. I think he maneuvered for more Ukraine aid a few months back with Republicans, so which, seems a little bit like, hey, he's not even president. What's he doing? And I think he was at some recent like government function, like military function. He was an attendee, and it was, okay. He also met with Netanyahu, so he seems to be engaging in policy decisions, and right, and he's not president, and yet he's orange man bad, but he's not president, but he's engaging in it can be, it's a little bit confusing, I think, and maybe some people think it's frightening, but I don't, the same is going on the left. It's just not super open and obvious, right? It's kind of like it's like a secret kind of sort of, right? But they give themselves a little plausible, Obama's just enjoying his time. Yeah. In the Hamptons. He's not really involved. He's just kind of watching from afar, He's just chilling. Okay. Trump was always a New York liberal Democrat. Well, yeah, he was. Well, I'm looking on Rockfin. A few people on Rockfin here. More people on Rockfin. Rich Diana, thank you for the Thanks for the tip, Rich. I appreciate you. He asks, does anybody know of a Doomalist shrink? It's time. He also says, new research says methane is more detrimental than thought and is escaping faster than expected. How delightful. Oh, for sure. Oh, speaking of Doomalist shrinks, let me who sent me this? Yellow Vest News on Twitter sent me this, and I put this up in the chat room, although I can't really click the link here. I don't know why. It's interesting. There's some clickable. I guess we just do it old school. There we go. Copy and paste. Fool. Oh, here's what we found on Twitter. This is the preparing for collapse, the new political map. This is good for a chuckle. This is up in the chat room. Where do we start? A, deniers. Old politics, liberals, conservatives, neoliberals, socialists, progressives, libertarians. Civilization will last forever. B, rapturous, God will save us. C, globalist, shock doctrine, Randians. A hard-nosed elite will save us. D, techno-utopians, neo-environmentalists, post-humanists. Technology, innovation, progress will save us. E, integrals, reprogrammers. A kind elite will arise and save us. F, humanists occupy meta movements, human consciousness. Together we will save ourselves. G, transition resilience movements. Preparation in community might save us. H, deep green activists. Smash undermine civilization now to diminish its damage. I, communitarians, find rebuild communities, tribes on a scale that works. J, existentialists, dark mountaineers, know and prepare yourselves. And K, neo survivalists, we can preserve some civilization behind a private fortress. What do you think? Is that pretty good? Yeah, I thought that was good. I thought that was a good list of the collapsitarian spectrum. Speaking of which, thanks Rich for the tip. And if you enjoy this content, if you like this show coming to you Monday through Friday for free 99, now what would you pay? If you want to support the show, it's a very, very nice thing to do. The show really does need the support. I don't, there's no really paywalls anywhere. I mean, I do put up links for the shows for people who are paid on Patreon. I don't know if the people that support me on Patreon really care about that service or not. If you guys care about that, knowing where all the links are to the shows, let me know. If you really are clamoring for all the links to everything I use on the shows, let me know. Maybe I'll just take off the paywall. I don't know. But anyways, there's no paywalls to speak of for these shows and for this content. So if you enjoy what you're getting and you want to support it and you want it to keep on going, there are ways to do that. The links in the description box of any of the channels you're watching on are ways that you can do it. There are direct donate links and stuff like that. There's a PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, Coffees. You can support in any of those ways. You can also Super Ray. That's a tip on Rockfin, is a Super Ray. Super Chats is a tip on YouTube. And Rumble, Rumble rants apparently on Rumble, but I don't know anything about that. If you are whatever channel you're watching on, please like it up, like the video and stuff like that. All right, so this is from Sarah Connor, reposting this from Bloomberg. Exxon sees 2050 oil use at current level, despite net zero goal. Exxon's own goal of net zero. Somehow we're gonna cancel out all those emissions. We're gonna net zero it out, you guys. Anyways, and putting efforts to reach net zero carbon emissions by mid-century well out of reach. They say that oil demand seen plateauing at 100 million barrels a day. Plateauing at 100 million barrels a day. 100 million barrels a day. Hold on, let's see if we can find an alternate link for this. Oh, maybe, yeah. Reuters is going to help us out. Thanks, Reuters. Cool. Exxon forecast 2050 oil demand to match today's 25% above the British petroleum estimate. They said on Monday it expects crude demand to stay above 100 million barrels per day through 2050. It's a whole 25 more years of that. Surely we will be able to turn this around. Surely we'll be able to turn this around and all will be well. After all that, after 25 more years of 100 million barrels per day, or is that, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. The stronger demand projected by the largest U.S. oil company in its latest global oil outlook, excuse me, underpins Exxon's production growth plans, the most ambitious among Western oil majors. It did not have a 2050 demand figure in its previous outlook released in 2023. The company also painted a more somber view on global carbon emissions reductions than British Petroleum, which I'm having a hard time saying. Advancements in technology will allow for emissions reductions after 2029 compared to the middle of this decade, according to British Petroleum, or BP. We'll just say BP. Exxon plans to pump 4.3 million barrels of oil and gas per day this year, 30% more than U.S. top rival Chevron. Their current output. Yeah. BP is cutting production to about 2 million barrels per day by 2030. Oil and gas demand have a very, very long runway and will continue to grow over the next few years. Exxon Economics Energy and Strategic Planning Director Chris Birdsell told Reuters. Exxon estimates electric vehicles will not significantly alter long-term global oil demand. Who knew? As the world's population is expected to increase from 8 billion today to nearly 10 billion in 2050, adding to demand for energy. All those new customers, they're coming online, and we've got to supply them with petroleum products. That's just not oil and gas, that's natural gas. That's everything made from petroleum, which is pretty much everything. That's plastics. And pretty much everything else is made of plastic. So more plastics. We're going to pump more plastics into the ecosystem. And probably more of all the other good stuff, you know what I'm saying? Pesticides, PFAS, you know, all the good things. Radiation. Joseph Wood on Rockfin says 100 billion tons of material per day, not including pre-separated ore and many more billions. Or per year, 100 billion tons per year. Sorry, I didn't read your correction before I read the first. Sorry. Oldest Dirt says, I often reflect on the art products that I purchase from Michaels. 90% is product from Ashland Oil, including the seashells they sell for crafts, paints, beads. It's all oil. It's all oil. Everything we do is oil. That's why there's no fixing this unless you're really prepared to take down, your standard of living and what you expect to have, buy, purchase, consume, use, unless you are willing to reorganize or reconfigure, almost everything you do in your life. Everything you do in your life. Everything, where you work, how you driving your car, roads, buildings, heat, cooling, what you eat, every single thing that you touch and you do has to be reimagined, redesigned, reconfigured, and mostly done away with. Like 90% of everything you do has to go away and then, go from there. If you could keep 10% of your stuff, what would you keep? What would you keep? What would you need to survive? Then go from there. Anyways. RFK Jr., he did use a shoot of heroin. But he cleaned himself up. That's I can respect that. All of the stuff of civilization is more thermally dense and of higher thermal capacitance than stuff of nature or grow. A heat engine, yeah. Okay, sorry, did I get lost on this article? I think I did. Anyways, Exxon estimates that electric vehicles will not significantly alter long-term global oil demand. If every new car sold in the world in 2035 were electric, crude oil demand would still be 85 million barrels per day. If every new car sold in the world in 2035 were electric, 85 million barrels per day, the same as it was in 2010. That's how you know. It's it's an uphill climb. BP projects all oil consumption will peak in 2025. That's what they project, and decline to 75 million barrels per day in 2050. The estimates are more than triple the 24 million barrels per day of crude the International Energy Agency says would allow the world to reach net zero emissions by 2050. I mean, there you go. In order to reach net zero emissions, according to the IEA, we would have to cut oil consumption by a third. I just said you had to cut 90% of your stuff out of your life. They're saying we as a collective need to cut 66% percent of the stuff out of our lives, which is pretty significant. What's the difference between 66 and 90? It doesn't really matter. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. Exxon projects 67% of the global energy mix in 2050 will be supplied by oil, natural gas, and coal, down from 68% last year. The company said more investments in oil than are currently anticipated will be necessary as the world transitions. More investments in oil. As the world transitions to unconventional resources, wells in these geological formations, such as U.S. shale, have a shorter production lifespan and exhibit a more pronounced natural decline, it said. Exxon projects that without new investments, output would decrease by about 15% per year, a steeper decline compared to IEA's 2018 estimates of about 8% per year. Wow. So the rate of decline could cause oil prices to quintuple. $20 a gallon gas, anybody? With global supply plummeting to 30 million barrels per day as early as 2030, according to Birdsall. Global oil and natural gas supplies would virtually disappear without continued investments. Wow. So there you go. There you go. That's a really great reason. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But that's a really great reason to not ever allow any more new drilling or oil permits, right? If you just stopped all the oil permitting now, we'd go down 15% per year. That's what Exxon is saying. Anyways. So they need more oil investments because without that, the world's going to careen off into some other future, which they don't want you to see. They want you to see the future that involves them selling you petroleum products. And lastly, from holding Dems accountable, the U.S. completes the 500th air delivery of weapons to Israel since the 7th of October. 500. The White House has sent 50,000 tons of weapons to Israel despite claims President Biden and VP Harris are working around the clock for a ceasefire in Gaza. It's the pretty words you got to watch out for. It really is. That's a one shipment every 15 hours for 324 days. Biden and Kamala are not working on a ceasefire. Somebody says they are working on a ceasefire. When there are no living souls in Gaza, there will be a ceasefire. See? Yeah. I think that's kind of what they're going for. Yeah. Anyways. Generation of electricity on the grid. Let's see. Electric cars hide a lot of their impact in the back end. Yes, Joseph. Yes. There's so much oil involved in electric cars that they're, the only thing electric about them is their drivetrain, but pretty much everything else is, and the electricity is not. It's mostly from oil, so there's that. Electric cars hide a lot of their impact in the back end with much more thermally dense materials and heat in manufacture and mining than ICE, right? Internal combustion. Plus, the generation of electricity on the grid they are being powered by the roads. The roads either vehicles require alone are not sustainable. Right, exactly. Yep. All that is true. All that is very true. Not only do we need to get rid of the cars, we need to get rid of the roads. Imagine that. We need to get rid, not only do we need to stop using all the stuff that we get with our infrastructure, we need to get rid of the infrastructure too. Wow, what is that? What does that even mean? You mean all the stuff we built over the last 100 years has to be unbuilt? Yep. That's what it means. Most of it anyways. All right, guys. That does it for me. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. I'm gonna see if I have anybody to thank today. On the donation end. And I'll be back tomorrow. My phone is running incredibly slow. Anybody else having that problem? I'll be back tomorrow at the regular time of 11 a.m. Pacific. Thank you, Extra Bullet. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for lurking. All the lurkers, to the chatters and the lurkers. Thank you for hanging out. Y'all are great. And I will see you tomorrow. Until next time. Peace.